She did not even try to pull me aside. Not in the kitchen, not in the car, not after one of her pretend yoga classes. She waited for the candles to be lit. She waited for her sons to sip the imported wine that I paid for. She waited until the caterer headed out with the fat tip that I handed over. Then she lifted her glass like she was announcing a promotion. Congratulations to us and to my new beginning. We are divorcing. The room went quiet so fast it felt like a wine glass hitting the floor. I did not answer right away. I just looked at her. Her lipstick did not smear when she smiled. Her diamond earrings, the ones I chose at a boutique in Milan on our 20th anniversary, sparkled like they agreed with her show. Her oldest boy, Tyler, even laughed. Did not expect him to take it this well, he said, chewing another bite of my favorite duck confit, like it was any other Tuesday. I turned to him. Enjoy the evening, I said. I kept my voice calm and clear. It is the last normal one you will have. He blinked. Kelly, my wife, narrowed her eyes. What is that supposed to mean? She asked. I did not answer. I took a slow sip of my whiskey. The expensive bottle. The one she used to call too smoky, except she always poured it when her friends came over to show off. Let me set something straight. I am not the kind of man who breaks. I bend. I adjust. I make plans. For 23 years, I built her the life she liked to parade at garden parties and those pretty brunches she posted online. The same life she could throw away with a toast, like a handbag she got bored of. I looked around the dining room. I ran the wiring for the lights myself. I bargained for the reclaimed oak table from a supplier up in Vermont. I renovated this house from the foundation up. She used to say, "You are so good with your hands, John." She was right. Not just with drills and drywall. With contracts. With the flow of assets. With Shell limited liability companies she never asked about. She decided I was dull. Predictable. The kind of man who would fade out while she strutted into her bright new chapter. She did not know I had already started mine, years ago. It began when she first canceled plans without explanations. When she suddenly needed spa weekends by herself. When her phone started living face down on the counter. She thought I was too busy with retirement models and tax write-offs to notice the hotel receipts she kept forgetting to hide in the laundry room. I am not the kind of man who shouts. I am the kind who keeps receipts. I glanced at her cake. A custom chocolate mousse from that French bakery she adores. She had not touched it. Too busy performing. She always loved the performance more than the taste. People forget about the person who designs their dreams until he slides out the last support beam. Before I go any further, do me one favor. Hit the follow button. Most of you listen without following. When you do follow, it tells the team that the stories matter, that someone is listening, and that it is worth showing how deep betrayal can cut and how clean payback can land. Back to Kelly. She topped off her glass again. She did not notice that my silence was not surrender. It was calculation. Her sons, neither one mine by blood, both of them mine by money, chatted about their new startup idea. I had quietly funded the seed money through a donor-advised fund she never connected to me. The younger one, Josh, asked what I thought about their pitch deck. I smiled. I think it will be interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks. Kelly gave me that look like I was a bug on her dessert plate. She used that look whenever she wanted to shut down anything she could not control. Can we not do this tonight? She asked with a sigh. It is a celebration. A fresh start. Fresh start. Cute, I said. Sure. To fresh starts. I raised my glass. They all toasted again, not catching on. Tyler drifted back into a story about the Porsche test drive Kelly had booked for him next weekend. He assumed the down payment was already handled. I let him think that. When people underestimate you, nobody bothers to check the escape hatch you have been building under their throne. She could have her toast. I had already had mine. And tomorrow the walls would begin to move. One card, one clause, one quiet pause at a time. At 6:12 in the morning, the gas pump beeped at Kelly and flashed a message she did not like. Declined. She tapped the card again. Her Platinum American Express, the one she loved to wave around like a wand at Nordstrom. Nothing. Declined again. Must be the chip, she muttered. She pulled out her backup Visa, the rose gold one she used to tell her friends was only for emergencies. Declined. The screen turned red. The pump reset. Her reflection in the glossy display looked small. She fumbled for her phone, already annoyed. The yoga class in Buckhead started in 35 minutes, and she hated being the last person to roll out a mat. She pressed the unlock button. No signal. She held the phone higher. She walked around to the passenger side like higher ground would summon fifth-generation cellular service. Still nothing. She opened her banking application. It hung, then force closed. She tried again. I did not stand there to watch it happen. I did not have to. The bank logs, the call recording, and the notice under her wiper told the whole story. No connection. That is what her phone said. The normal login screen never appeared. A strange quiet started in Kelly's chest. Not full panic. Just that itchy worry that makes you blink too fast. She walked into the gas station. Heels on tile. Way overdressed for a chevron at dawn. The kid behind the counter looked like he had been up all night playing video games. She put on her practice smile. Hi, do you have a landline I can borrow for a quick call? My phone is not working. He pointed behind him. Payphone. In the corner. Cute, she said under her breath. She fed in a crumpled dollar bill and called the bank. She liked using the concierge line. No waiting. Another perk she bragged about. Good morning. Thank you for calling Crescent National. This is Megan. My card is not working, Kelly cut in. Neither of them are. I am locked out of my application. Can you tell me what is going on? May I have your full name and the last 4 digits of your social security number? Kelly Hartman, she said. She gave the 4 numbers. I am sorry, Ms. Hartman, Megan said. The joint account has been separated. You are no longer listed as a cardholder or an authorized user. That is not possible, Kelly said. I used the card yesterday. It has to be a system glitch. I can assure you, ma'am, it is not. The account is active, but your access was formally revoked at 12:01 this morning. Revoked by who? I am not authorized to disclose that. It is my account. No, ma'am. It was a joint account. The primary holder exercised separation rights. Kelly squeezed the cold metal handle of the payphone. There has to be a mistake. This is absurd. I want a supervisor. I can connect you, Megan said. She paused. Before I do, I am seeing a note you should hear. Kelly's stomach dropped. What note? There is a lien filed against a leased vehicle under your name, Megan said. Late last night. That car is mine, Kelly said. Her voice cracked. It appears the vehicle is leased through Hartwell Consulting Group. You are listed as a secondary user. The lease was formally canceled at 11:54 in the evening. You said there is a lien? Yes. A repossession order was filed electronically with the Department of Motor Vehicles. The vehicle is scheduled for impound if it is not surrendered voluntarily within 48 hours. The phone cord twisted between Kelly's fingers while the truth seeped in. The car was not hers. The account was not hers. She was not on anything. She slammed down the receiver. A tired mother filling up a minivan glanced over at the noise. Kelly stood under the blue light of the gas station canopy like a stranger in someone else's bad dream. She climbed back into the driver's seat and just sat there, breathing through her teeth. Yoga was out. Breakfast was out. And now the sweet idea that she could slide through this divorce without any real resistance was out too. She turned the key. The engine started. Then she saw it. A folded slip tucked under the wiper. Not a ticket. No handwriting. Just a printed notice that looked like a receipt. She stepped out and grabbed it. In bold letters. Vehicle tagged for electronic monitoring. Surrender within 48 hours to avoid penalties. There was a barcode, a case number, a signature, my initials, JR. It did not hit her in the chest. It hit lower, like the ground moving under her, like the floor of her life starting to slide. It was 6:19 in the morning. She had no money, no access, and no idea what I had done overnight. Worse, she had no idea what was next. By 10:03, she had already shouted at 2 bank tellers. She threw her yoga mat in a trash can. She even tried to send money to her favorite barista through Venmo for a large oat milk latte. It was the first time she had ever seen request declined in red. She felt like a ghost with a purse. Every card felt like a dead limb. Every application opened to an empty hallway. When her phone finally came back to life, she exhaled like someone just cut a zip tie. 2 missed calls, both from her lawyer, Ryan Patton. Midtown firm. Slick hair. A habit of calling every mess straightforward. She called back. He picked up on the first ring. Kelly, finally, Ryan said. Ryan, something is wrong, she said. John is freezing accounts and pulling leases. I cannot even buy coffee. Ryan did not use his usual calm voice. Did you tell me he signed over the house last year? What? Yes. Last Christmas. Remember? You said he gave you the deed as a gift. Right. I reviewed it again because his new filing references something I did not see before, Ryan said. He lowered his voice. Kelly, why did you not mention the trust? What trust? Silence. The transfer was not direct, he said. It was not a standard deed handoff. It was a provisional transfer from a family trust. Specifically, from a trustee tied to John's late sister's estate. That is not possible, she said. But her heartbeat had changed. He gave you access to the house, Ryan said. Not ownership. And it is conditional. Conditional on what? She asked him. There was a long pause on Ryan's end. Then he read it out like a line item. Clause 9.4a. Transfer of possession remains intact as long as the marriage remains legally active. Any unilateral dissolution by either party reverts ownership to the trust immediately, unless jointly renegotiated. He cleared his throat. Kelly, it is your signature at the bottom of that page. Dated December 25th. There is no way I signed something like that, she said. I would remember. You initialed next to the clause, he said. He did not sound cruel. He sounded like a man trying not to make a fire spread. She stood in the middle of our open-concept kitchen, the one with the imported tile and the brushed brass fixtures, and stared around like it was a stranger's house. The light felt too bright. The air felt too still. I thought it was a gift, she said, softer now. It was a gift, Ryan said. A conditional one. And because you filed the divorce papers yesterday, you broke the condition. She gripped the marble island. So what does that mean? Legally, he said, it means you never owned this house. You were a temporary occupant under a revocable clause. She turned like she was inventorying a stage set. The wine rack. The built-in espresso machine. The framed house goals art print she bought on our trip to Sedona. Another vacation I paid for while I stayed back to finish client work. It is in my name on paper, she said. On the decorative title copy I printed for you and slipped into that gold frame. Yes, Ryan said. On the legal title, no? You are not listed. Something mean and heavy started chewing at the base of her ribs. I want to fight it, she said fast. We will file something. He tricked me. It will not work, Ryan said. I just spoke to a colleague who saw the original filing. His lawyers papered it tight. And, Kelly, I need to ask this carefully. Are you certain about that signature? I do not know, she said. It was Christmas. We had wine. He said it was symbolic. Not symbolic, Ryan said. Strategic. The robe on her shoulders suddenly weighed a ton. She slid into one of the velvet dining chairs. How did I not see this? She asked. He did not want you to see it, Ryan said. That is the point. She stared at the cool tile. Every inch of this place. Every wall she posted online. Every just another renovation she bragged about to friends. It was all sitting on an idea, not a deed. She stood up fast. I need to call John. I would not, Ryan said. Not yet. Why not? Because if I were him, I would not pick up. She ended the call. Outside, a delivery van eased out of the driveway. The driver tipped his cap when she stepped onto the stone porch barefoot. The sun felt too warm for the hour. That is when she noticed the woman across the street. Windbreaker, clipboard, city records badge, making notes. Can I help you? Kelly called. The woman looked up. Oh, are you the current tenant? Tenant. Kelly did not answer. She turned and walked back inside. The door clicked shut like a verdict. By noon she had already moved from denial to damage control. She threw on a blazer still wrinkled from last week's spa retreat and marched into her makeshift home office. The converted sunroom she once called her command center. The French doors were open. A slow breeze tugged at the curtains. It felt wrong. Too peaceful for what was happening. She yanked open the filing cabinet. It was mostly motivational notebooks and old Pilates schedules. She started pulling anything with my name on it. Tax forms, retirement notices, trust papers she never read but signed because, as she liked to say, John handles all the serious stuff. One folder stood out. Thick, beige, with a gold tab she did not recognize. She opened it. Inside was a trust declaration, official seals and all. The first page froze her. Hartman Family Trust, successor beneficiary, Darla Whitman, deceased. My older sister. Gone 6 years now. Kelly had worn black Chanel to the service and called it tasteful, but not too heavy. They were never close. Darla was quiet and exacting. She read contracts. She wrote notes in the margins with that odd fountain pen I kept in my desk. Kelly flipped the page. A clause was brushed in soft green highlighter. Darla's touch. Occupancy of residential property at 812 Larks Drive granted on a rolling basis to listed partner, K. Hartman, provided legal marital status remains uninterrupted. In the event of dissolution, unilateral or mutual, revocation of occupancy may be filed without appeal. Her signature sat beneath it. The same loop on the K. The same little tail on the H she used when she wanted it to look elegant. Dated 2 days before Christmas. She remembered the evening. I had said, just some updates. End-of-year estate items. I poured her the red wine she liked. I put on soft jazz. 3 pages to sign. She was thinking about that matching luggage set she had been hinting at. The papers slid from her hands. She realized she did not even own the doorknobs. The doorbell rang. She opened it halfway, expecting me. Or a courier. Maybe, at this point, a news crew. I was not the one at the door. A petite woman in a navy blazer stood on our porch with a manila envelope in her hands. Mrs. Hartman? Yes. My name is Darla Evans. I am counsel for the Hartman Family Trust. Kelly frowned. Darla who? Darla Evans, she said. Not Darla Whitman, your late sister-in-law. I was named trustee after her passing. John appointed me. I am here to deliver a notice of revocation of temporary occupancy. Kelly's mouth went dry. You cannot just show up and throw me out. I am not removing anyone, Darla said. Her voice was steady, professional, polite. I am delivering paperwork. This is my home, Kelly hissed. John gave it to me. You were granted conditional occupancy through the trust, Darla said with a slow nod. The condition was marital status. Your filing was received yesterday. She checked the top page. Your unilateral divorce notice activated clause 17.2 of the trust. She held out the envelope. Kelly would not take it. Darla set it gently on the stone step. The revocation is effective in 14 calendar days, she said. If you choose to leave earlier, you will avoid the enforcement step. What does enforcement mean? Kelly asked. It means the trust can legally have you removed, Darla said, almost kindly. But that is always a last resort. She turned to go, then paused. Also, for your awareness, the garden shed and the back lot are not part of your temporary access. They belong to a separate holding listed under Walker Legacy Green Limited Liability Company. Kelly blinked. That plain little shed, the one she let Josh use as a music studio. I had wrapped that, too. Did he plan this? Kelly called after her. Did he start this years ago? Darla did not turn around. Mrs. Hartman, John is very thorough and very patient. The front door clicked shut behind Kelly like a judgment. She stood frozen in the entryway. Every wall, every cabinet, every inch of polished floor she once described to friends as her dream design suddenly felt borrowed. She grabbed her phone and called Ryan. Voicemail. She called again. Voicemail. Then her screen lit up. Incoming call. Unknown number. She answered. Kelly, Ryan said, a little out of breath. I just got a call from opposing counsel. They have already filed for property return enforcement. It is moving fast. I just spoke to someone from the trust, she said. Some Darla, John's lawyer. Darla Evans, Ryan cut in. She is a ghost in filings, but every judge knows her. If she is delivering notices in person, it means John is locking this down airtight. They cannot just revoke the house, Kelly said. I live here. You signed everything, Ryan said. And they have prepared this for months. She sat on the staircase. The wood felt colder than normal. We need to meet. Now, Ryan said. When she hung up, her eyes landed on the art above the hallway bench. Build a life you do not need a vacation from. She hated that line now. She had not built a thing. She had moved into someone else's blueprint. And the walls were politely asking her to leave. At 2:42 in the afternoon, Kelly stormed out in oversized sunglasses and the tightest blazer she owned. She needed air. She needed someone to nod along. Mostly, she needed control, something to hold while the picture of her life came apart at the seams. So she did what she always did when the world felt small. She drove. The sport utility vehicle sat in the driveway, glossy and black, with custom tint. People noticed when she rolled up. Parking attendants at the club called her ma'am and ran for the door. Baristas at Blue Bench remembered her order. Oh, you are the one with the X9. We love that model. 3 Christmases ago, I had put the keys in a small blue box with a white ribbon. You deserve the best, I told her. She cried. She posted a photo with the caption, My husband knows me. The likes hit 4 digits by midnight. But today there was a change. A paper was taped to the windshield at the driver's side corner, bold and official, like it wanted to be seen. Kelly froze. Her heels clicked once more on the pavement. She peeled the notice free. Notice of repossession. Issued by Regional Leasing Enforcement Division. Vehicle identification, X9, code WC 4-119. Vehicle identification number ending in 6732. Lessor, HMCG Holdings Limited Liability Company. Effective immediately, lease terminated. Authorized recovery scheduled. Status pending. Her stomach twisted. HMCG. It hit her. Hartwell Management and Consulting Group. My firm. The one I joked barely kept me busy. She thought it was a vanity project in my semi-retirement. She had mocked it over wine with friends. He still needs to feel important. I let him have his little company. My little company owned her car. She crumpled the paper in her fist, stomped to the driver's door, and pulled the handle. Unlocked. A tiny relief. She pressed the start button. The center screen flickered, then froze. Secure Connect disabled. Global Positioning System lock active. Please contact your provider. The dashboard lit up like a crime scene. Lease expired. Call support. Immobilization in progress. Her hand clamped on the wheel. She was not going anywhere. She dialed Ryan again. Voicemail. She called me. It went straight to voicemail. Her voice cracked in the recording. John, I swear to God, do you think this is funny? You cut me off and staged some kind of car repossession theater, and that makes you the better person? She hung up, and I could picture the way she stabbed the phone into the cup holder. That is when she noticed the glove box was open. A single sheet was folded like a shirt inside. She reached over and pulled it out. Vehicle agreement. Lease number 448. HMCG. My company. Hartwell Management and Consulting Group. Authorized driver, Kelly Hartman. Status, revoked. Effective October 3rd, 0001 hours. In the margin, someone had written a neat note. Not my handwriting. Likely Darless. You are not the registered legal entity identifier. Vehicle will be recovered at 6 in the evening unless surrendered voluntarily. That one line hit her harder than anything else. You are not the registered legal entity identifier. She slammed the compartment shut and fell back against the seat, breathing like she had sprinted uphill. How could this even be real? I gave her the keys. The bow. The little blue box. That should have meant something. Except it did not. She was screaming before she noticed it, full-throated and red-faced, at nobody in particular. At me. At the paper. At the leasing company with its digital locks and tidy notices. She threw open the door and flung the crumpled repossession slip onto the grass. An older couple walking a dog paused on the sidewalk. Everything all right, ma'am? The man asked. Kelly showed her teeth in something halfway between a smile and a snarl. Perfect. They kept moving. Back in the driver's seat, she tried the start button again. The screen blinked and held. Immobilized. Her phone buzzed. Crescent National Bank. Your account balance is $0. No soft language. No cushion. Just the number. She looked at herself in the rearview mirror. Lipstick cracked. Skin gone flat and dry. For a second, she did not know the face staring back. This was not how the day was supposed to go. This was not how she was supposed to go. 10 minutes later, a tow truck eased onto the street. She watched it like it was a slow cloud. Somewhere inside, she knew I would not stop with the house or the cash. Not me. Not the man she once called boring over wine. The man who supposedly had no fire left. Turns out, I kept it for this. Kelly's brand was always smoke, mirrors, and soft light. Her business card said, Kelly Hartman, Lifestyle Consultant, embossed in gold on thick linen stock. Her email signature read, Curating Elegance for the Modern Executive Woman. Her clients were a mix. Wives of local donors, restless spouses with corporate suites, old friends from yoga retreats. They paid for closet overhauls and tasteful wallpaper recommendations. The whole career floated like a bottle of expensive perfume in warm water, sweet and undisturbed, until Thursday. At first, the cracks were small. An email from Mara Chan, who once called Kelly her style therapist. Subject line, postponing for now, XX. The body was one short sentence. Thanks for your time. No rain check. No reason. Kelly shrugged. Maybe Mara's husband was traveling. Maybe it was budget season. She texted anyway. Hope all is well. Tell me what works for you. with a sparkling heart. No reply. Then Angela Singh canceled her spring interiors refresh 3 days before it was due. No note. Just a calendar invite withdrawn by the organizer. By the third cancellation, this time from Meredith Steele, who had not missed a session in 5 years, Kelly felt the temperature drop. Her inbox, once bubbly with mood boards and exclamation points, turned into receipts and automated shipping alerts. Even her long-running group chat with 4 top clients went quiet. She had named it the Style Circle. Silence. She checked her Instagram stories out of habit. Meredith viewed them. No likes. Angela had unfollowed. Unfollowed. Kelly sat in her cream leather office chair and whispered, "What is happening?" She blamed gossip first. Divorce has a smell, and these circles can scent blood at 5 meters. Maybe someone leaked. Maybe I was already talking. She searched her name and checked the alerts. Nothing new. She called Mara. Straight to voicemail. She sent fresh emails to a few new prospects she had met at the last fundraisers. Every message felt like tossing silk scarves into a wind tunnel. Nothing floated back. By noon, she was pacing. Her brand was not big, but it was selective. The whole thing ran on referrals and whispers at luncheons and museum galas. She never bought ads. She never had to. Now it felt like she had disappeared. Then came the message that cracked it all the way through. A forward. From Meredith. Clearly misdirected. Meant for someone else. Subject, regarding Kelly Hartman. Body. John just called me. Said she is no longer affiliated with the board or the firm. Suggested we pause anything with her for now. Let us discuss later. Kelly's hand stopped on the mouse. John. I had called Meredith. She did not even know I knew Meredith. What did I mean by no longer affiliated? That stuck in her head. Kelly was never on the board of my firm. But at events, she was always presented as part of the family brand, the wife, the look, the front of house. I even used her image once in an annual report, which she loved to remind people about. She scrolled through the forwarded thread. It showed the ripple, quiet but steady, a polite tsunami moving across her client list. My calls had done their work. One woman replied, "Understood. We will hold." Kelly stared at that and snapped. Hold what? Hold what? She threw her phone across the desk. It slid into her planner. The book where she used to jot color palettes and shopping routes was almost empty now. Next week had one penciled name, and even that felt like a coin flip. She stood at the mirror beside her desk and looked at herself. Kelly Hartman, lifestyle consultant. It suddenly sounded silly. Who was she consulting now? Who was left? She yanked the little brushed brass nameplate off the desk and dropped it into the trash can with a hard clink. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number. She grabbed it. Hello. Hello, is this Kelly Hartman? A soft, careful voice. This is Lorraine from Ridgewood Interiors. We were scheduled to speak today about your event proposal. Kelly exhaled. Finally, something normal. Oh, yes, of course, Lorraine said, and then cut in. I am calling to confirm that we are going in a different direction. I wish you the best. Click. Kelly sank back into her chair. The rose-beige office walls seemed to press inward. Her empire had never been hers. It was my card file, my quiet handshakes in boardrooms, my nods at the club. With a few calls, I had pulled it back. She stared at the dead screen and whispered, I am still me. Even she did not sound convinced. It started with a drawer that jammed. Josh, her younger son, the only one who ever challenged her tone and the only one who half believed she had a working compass, was digging through the living room sideboard looking for an old photo of the family dog. He wanted it for a print he was making in art school. Check the bottom drawer, Kelly told him. I used to toss all kinds of stray junk in there. Paperweights, dead pens, old birthday cards. Josh did not find a photo. He found a manila folder, bent a little at the corner, tucked under a stack of unused holiday cards. He opened it and flipped through pages. Most of it looked like dry trust language and tax forms, until he hit one that was not vague at all. Property title, 812 Larks Drive. Owner, Hartman Family Trust. Trustee, Darla Whitman, deceased. Successor trustee, Darla Evans. Occupant, Kelly Hartman, non-owner. Conditional status. He turned the page. Then he checked it again. And again. A line for a co-owner was blank. He stood there a long moment in the soft afternoon light, staring at the signatures. Darla's successor seal. Kelly's initials on 3 separate pages. But not once, nowhere, did her name appear as an owner. He walked into the kitchen. Kelly was barefoot, sipping a glass of Pinot Grigio that had gone a little warm. "Mom," he said, holding the paper. "Why is your name not on the deed?" She blinked. "What?" "This trust document. The house is not in your name." She took the folder, slow, her mouth parting a beat too late. "Oh, that is," she waved a hand. "That is symbolic. John always handled the official stuff. It is a formality." Josh did not look away. "You said he gave you the house." "He did. That is what this is," she said. He put it under the trust for tax reasons. His accountant advised it. Everyone does that now. You sign something that says if you divorce him, you lose the house. It is just language, Josh. Legal padding." "Mom, did you even read this when you signed it?" Her lips thinned. "I am not stupid. Of course I read it. I trusted him." "You trusted him and filed for divorce." There was a pause just long enough for something to snap between them. "Josh," she said sharply, "I do not appreciate your tone. This is between your father and me." "No," he said. "It is between you and reality." She slapped the papers on the counter. "I raised you to respect boundaries. And I thought you raised me to ask questions." He walked out with the folder still in his hand. Kelly stood in place, listening to his steps fade up the stairs like the slow rap of a gavel. A decision. No appeal. 10 minutes later, the floor creaked above her. She heard his voice, low and steady. "He was on the phone with me." She crept toward the stairs and listened. She could not make out the words, just the tone, curious at first, then quieter, then silent. The call lasted 20 minutes. When Josh came back down, he did not yell. He did not accuse. He laid the document on the counter in front of her. His face gave nothing away. She looked up. "Well," he met her eyes. In that look she finally saw it. No anger. Worse. Disappointment. Colder than fury. Final. He turned without a word and walked out the front door. The sound of it closing carried through the house longer than it should have. Kelly had always felt at home in banks. Banks always made her feel tall. Marble floors. Air conditioning set 2 degrees too cold. Voices turned down like money required hush. Not today. The sliding doors did not part for a queen. They opened for a woman coming apart. Her heels hit the tile too loud. Her blouse clung to dry skin. The makeup was perfect, but the smile under it shook like a porch built too fast on wet ground. "Mrs. Hartman, welcome back," the receptionist said. Kelly did not answer. She stepped past the velvet rope and went straight to the manager's desk without an appointment. Her voice came out calm in that practiced way people use when they have rehearsed the speech all night. "I would like access to the Hartman joint account ending in 4078. It is urgent." The manager, Philip, the same man who once complimented her necklace at a holiday mixer, blinked and nodded. "Of course. Let me pull that up." She watched his hands hover over the keyboard. Type. Pause. A glance to the monitor. Then back to her. "Mrs. Hartman, I am not finding you listed on that account." She laughed too hard. Even she startled at the sound. "That is impossible. I have had access for years." "Check again." Philip's forehead creased. "I do see your history, yes. But the account was restructured yesterday at 12:01 in the morning. Your authorization was removed." "By who?" Her voice frayed at the edge. "You need my permission to do that." "I am afraid not," he said. "Mr. Hartman is the primary account holder. He executed a transfer to a new structure in his name only." "That money is marital," she said, leaning forward. "That money is mine." Philip lowered his voice. "You will need to resolve that through the courts, ma'am." "No, we do not need the court. I am requesting access to my money. That is all. I will withdraw it myself." He hesitated. "That will not be possible." "Why?" "Because the account no longer exists in your name. And because you are no longer authorized to withdraw from any associated accounts under Hartwell Holdings." Silence spread. 2 tellers stopped typing. A security guard straightened. The man in line behind her stared at his shoes and pretended not to listen. "Get me the supervisor," she said. "Now." Philip clicked a button. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Kelly stood with arms crossed, daring anyone to meet her eyes. The supervisor arrived, a young woman with sharp bangs and 2 steady poise. "I understand there has been some confusion," she said. "Unfortunately, without written authorization from Mr. Hartman or a court order, there is nothing we can do." Kelly's palm hit the counter. "This is my money. I stocked that house. I paid those bills. I was there for years." "Mrs. Hartman," the supervisor said gently, nodding toward the guard. I am going to ask you to step outside. A small crowd had formed, the kind that always gathers when dignity slips in public. A woman in athleisure lifted her phone and whispered. An older man adjusted his hearing aid. Do not touch me, Kelly warned as the guard took one step. No one is touching anyone, the supervisor said. We just need to de-escalate. Do not de-escalate, Kelly said, voice breaking. I built that life with him. You think he did it alone? You think? She was not yelling anymore. She was pleading. No one answered. They did not have to. They walked her toward the doors, polite and firm. She kept her back straight and blinked hard. She would not cry in a bank. Sunlight hit her. She froze. Across the street, a black sport utility vehicle idled at the curb. The window was down a crack. Coffee in hand. Sunglasses on. Me. I did not wave. I did not smirk. I took a slow drink and watched a plan run the way it was drawn. She stood there with half her body in shadow. I did not roll the window farther. I did not get out. I had already left the building, in every way that mattered, before she ever walked in. That evening, Ryan asked for a meeting in person. She wore sunglasses even though it was late. The restaurant was half empty. Low lights. A soft violin from the bar. She slid into a corner booth, like she still chose the corner. Ryan sat across from her, shoulders stiff, leather briefcase propped beside him like a witness. Thank you for meeting, she said. Flat voice. He did not waste time. He set a thick manila folder on the table. The weight made the silverware rattle. This, he said, tapping the cover, is everything I should have had when you first hired me. She stared. What is it? Your marriage, he said, and opened the folder. Pages fanned out with yellow tabs and neat highlights. You signed a conditional dissolution agreement 3 years ago. I have never signed a divorce agreement, she said. Not a divorce, Ryan said. A dissolution agreement. It is a preemptive estate structure. It defines where assets go if the marriage fails, infidelity, abandonment, legal separation. She let out a sharp, bitter laugh. You were telling me I signed my own financial death sentence 3 years ago. Ryan did not smile. You signed on the day John named you a partial co-beneficiary of the Hartman Family Trust. Her fingers twitched. That Christmas. Correct, he said. The day he gave you the framed deed. The little jewelry box with the house keys. Dinner at Belomari. I thought that was a gift, she said. It was a conditional one, Ryan replied. But he gave me everything. No, Ryan said quietly, turning to the back of the file. He let you believe he did. He slid a page across the table. Her signature sat at the bottom, clear as day. She read the pink highlight. Clause 14C. If the marriage dissolves, whether voluntary or due to infidelity, all jointly titled assets revert to trust control unless both parties sign a new agreement after dissolution. Beneficiary rights may be cut off without compensation upon breach. Her throat worked. This is ridiculous. Ryan did not argue. He let the words do the work. He made it feel like it was all ours, she said. That was the point, Ryan said. Control does not always look like force. Sometimes it looks like generosity. She turned more pages, hands shaking. The sport utility vehicle, leased. The house, held in the trust. The club membership, paid through the company. Even her own consulting outfit, seated with a donor line I had set up, now revoked. It is like he designed it, she whispered. He did, Ryan said. With advisors. Over years. The trust. The property papers. Your partial access to assets. It was built to look like ownership without giving it. He manipulated me. He planned this. For exactly this moment, Ryan said. She stared at the white tablecloth, too bright under the lamp. Her wine glass sat untouched. I told you this would be clean and quiet, Ryan added, gentler now. I did not know I was walking into a fortress. She looked up, eyes red but dry. So what is left for me? He hesitated. Your clothes. Some jewelry. The consulting entity. We need to check the registry, but I believe your name was removed on Monday. And the marriage license. That is still yours until the divorce is final. She did not speak. Forks ticked against china. A couple laughed 2 booths over. A server trimmed a candle wick. Kelly sat perfectly still. He brought me coffee every morning, she said at last. Even when we were fighting. Ryan nodded, unsure. I never thought I would end up on the wrong side of him. You are not on a side, he said, almost kind. You are not on any side. She closed the file. No tears. No scene. Just the stillness of a house with the lights turned off, waiting to be emptied. When she pulled up to 812 Larks Drive, it was quiet. No tow truck, no attorneys, no trustee with a clipboard. Just late autumn sun on the lawn I used to mow in straight lines with edges sharp enough to make a neighbor jealous. The lawn that says steady without a sound. She parked on the street, not in the driveway. The new rental, a pale blue sedan with a cracked console and cloth seats, looked small next to the house she once posted as my sanctuary. She walked the flagstone path, hydrangeas gone limp, smart lights that did not wake when she approached. Her heels clicked like they did not belong there anymore. She took the door handle. Nothing. The biometric reader glowed red. She pressed harder. Red again. She opened the home app on her phone. The spinner turned, then flashed. Access revoked. Account not found. She held the handle a moment, like it might apologize. Then she saw the corner of an envelope under the doormat. No address. No stamp. Heavy cream paper. Clean fold. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside, one page. My handwriting, tight, measured, every period a pin. Kelly, you called it the perfect life. It was, until you mistook it for yours. Congratulations. Behind it, the final filing. Stamped. Signed. Certified. Hartman Family Trust. Revocation and transfer of occupancy rights. Occupant, not applicable. Beneficiaries, John Hartman, sole. She flipped to the last page. Her name was nowhere. Not as owner. Not as trustee, not as heir, not even in the footnotes. Her knees gave. She sat on the porch. The paper slid to the stone like an empty shell. Everything landed at once. The quiet lock, the scrape of the mat, and the echo of her own voice years back. Do you want separate finances? We can do that if you do not trust me. And my answer, no. I trust you completely. I have it covered. I had it covered. Not to shield her. To make sure that if she left, she stepped into zero. No money, no house, no standing, no story she could sell at brunch. It did not crash down in court, not at the bank, not when the car went dead. It hit her here, on her own porch, like an uninvited guest realizing the invitation never had her name on it. She never left me. I had already left her. Not in a shout, but in 1,000 quiet moves. One clause at a time. While she laughed with friends about how boring I had become, I sketched the exit. While she dressed the forever rooms, I filed the trust under another name. While she toasted new beginnings, I wrote that note. She folded over her knees and shook. The porch lights stayed dark. In the frosted glass, she could make out a blur that used to be a person she recognized. Not a wife, not a partner, not even a footnote. Just a shadow who thought the world would always lean her way. It did not. And the woman who treated me like last season's heels watched me walk away with everything that actually mattered. The deed, the accounts, and, most of all, the plan.